Hi, everybody. My name is Brian Ursulisi. I'll be the English 100 teacher for your child this year. I'm excited about working with your kids. It's been a long time since I've worked with freshmen. I'm the English supervisor for the whole district at Rutherford Public Schools. So I cover everything from kindergarten all the way up through 12th grade. I am based at the high school, and every year I teach a different grade level. And by far, something I'm definitely looking forward to is continuing to work with your kids this year. We've had a great start to the year, and I do anticipate that it will continue. Just a couple of things, because this year is very different than any other. How we will communicate. Obviously, you know that it's a little bit different, so we do use the program called Zoom. It's an online conferencing software. We use it pretty much every single day. We'll go over a couple of rules at the end of the presentation, but I can tell you that I don't anticipate any issues with your kids and the rules. They've all been great so far. We use a program called Google Classroom. It's part of our G Suite of education. Google, we use all of the Google Docs, Google Forms, Google Sheets. Everything falls under the auspices of Google. And Google Classroom, that's sort of our clearinghouse where all the kids' assignments are. And it's not just assignments. Sometimes we use it just to post an announcement or some information. And we also use it sometimes just to ask a question and then ask the kids to answer that question and respond to their peers. That gets them ready for using more sophisticated online programs like Blackboard, which they'll use when they get into high school. Now, into college, excuse me. Now, if you would like to join Google Classroom, you're more than welcome to. There is a parent section. You can ask your child how to put your own email address into that, or if you're having trouble with that, just shoot me an email. My number's right here on the slide. My email is on the slide, that is, at bursulisi@rutherfordschools.org. As far as the phone number, yep, you can reach me by phone too, 201-438-7675, extension 2232, if you'd rather chat rather than email. Extra help, I'm available pretty much anytime, 12:18 through 3:02. Those are my official times to meet with kids, but if your son, your daughter, or whomever you are in charge of is having trouble, you just let me know, and I'm more than happy to work with them. So what do we do in English 100? It's just like any basic English class. We read books, we talk about those books, we write about those books, and along the way, hopefully learn a little bit about ourselves. So the 5 texts that we read: Romeo and Juliet, The Diary of Ma Yan, A Raisin in the Sun, Lord of the Flies, and The Red Scarf Girl. All of those have a common theme, sort of. They follow lives of children, younger people, who are struggling with the world that they're living in. Okay, Romeo and Juliet, obviously, they're struggling with parental restrictions and their parents won't let them be together. The Diary of Ma Yan, which your kids are working on right now, is about a young girl in a rural province of China who is told that she can no longer go to school because she needs to stay home and work. And her struggles because she really wants to be educated. And all of the books have something to do with a kid or a young person who feels that they don't fit in the world that they live in. And I think that's an important theme to talk about as your kids enter the high school and they're starting to learn a little bit more about themselves and who they are and where they fit in the world. When it comes to actually reading the books, I don't like to waste class time on reading. We're together for such a short amount of time that I like to talk about what we've read. So time management is pretty important for your children. They'll do a lot of the reading outside of class, and that's because when we get together, I want to talk about it. I want to know what they think. I want to know how the book impacted them, or how they think the character is going to change. It's exciting. So I'd rather do that in class. As far as writing, we follow a book called The Norton Sampler. It's got a ridiculous amount of different kinds of writing styles in it. We will do some of them. The traditional ones: a persuasive piece, a narrative piece, analytic piece. We do research tasks as well. But that's all done to get them to be stronger writers, because the way that they write is an extension of their personality, of who they are. So we will focus on quite a bit of writing styles as well. We do writing workshop style, which means that what we write, we always share with other people in the classroom. And I do talk to the kids about making sure that you are good editors and that you are kind editors when you're reading somebody else's work. But again, your kids so far, I don't really see that being an issue. They're all very kind to one another, which is nice. Grammar, we don't have a grammar book. It's not the old days with the big grammar textbook where you're doing exercises and writing it all down in a notebook. It's all online. The grammar hasn't changed, though. We use 2 programs. One is called IXL and one is called Quill. If your child is coming here from Union School, they used IXL last year for mathematics, but there is an English language arts component that we use here at the high school. Quill is going to be new to them. That's actually new to us here at the high school as well, and it's something we're excited about being able to use with your kids. Vocabulary. We don't have a standalone vocab book. We believe that teaching vocabulary in context is extraordinarily important. And what that means is that the vocab words that we teach have to matter. It can't just be a list of words where we pull 20 random words and say, what do these mean? If we're reading the Diary of Ma Yan, for example, the vocab words are going to come from that book, or they're going to be related to that book. One of the assignments your children recently had were words related to education, since that book focuses on a girl who is trying to pursue her education. And for vocab, we use a website and a program called vocabulary.com. And so far, again, your kids have shown proficiency with that, which is nice. One of the big parts of coming to the high school is the NJSLA test, which your kids have taken before. They may have called it the PARCC test, but now it counts. It is a graduation requirement. And starting this year, we will do a bit of prep. I don't like to do a lot of test prep because my philosophy is if I'm teaching your children the standards that New Jersey has set out, which obviously that's what we're doing, then they will do well on the test. But we do focus on some test-taking strategies and ways for them to be a little bit more comfortable and lower any anxiety levels that may pop when it comes close to test time. And at this point, I know this year is strange, but at this point, the state of New Jersey hasn't made any decisions about the test. So we are going to go ahead with that prep. Grading. How is your child graded? It's right here on the slide. Homework, and this does include at-home reading. Every once in a while, if I get the sense that kids aren't reading, I'll do a quick comprehension quiz. But generally, this is an easy way to boost up your grade. You read at night, you get an A for homework. 15% is the homework percentage. For quizzes, it's 15%. Class participation, 20%. Tests and projects, 25%. And writing assignments are also 25%. And that doesn't change as the year goes on. Each marking period or each quarter, it all adds up to 100, and those stay exactly the same all year. So just a couple of things about virtual learning etiquette, and I think this is important just to go over very quickly, even though I don't think we're going to have any issues, just something I want you to be aware of because your kids are aware of it. Every parent and every child has signed digitally when they register their child for school the acceptable use policy. That means you will use technology acceptably. And it also means that when you're working with us, that you're working with us. You're not, opening other tabs. You're not on other websites and doing things that are contrary to the classroom assignment or environment. Just a reminder, too, that when you are Zooming with us, we can see you, just like you can see my background here in my office. If a child is home, we can see the background of where they are. First and foremost, we want kids to remember that even if they are home, they are in class. They're just not necessarily in a classroom. We expect that the kids are going to use the Zoom software for educational purposes. They're not going to take screenshots or do anything inappropriate with them. And that if there are rules, that they are followed. And if they are not followed, just like we can ask a child to go to the vice principal in the building and ask them to leave the classroom, we can do that as well virtually. It would be asking them to leave the virtual classroom. And if they don't, we can remove them virtually from that classroom. So some of the rules that I have: show up on time. We take attendance every day. If you are at home, you should be in a quiet area with the fewest distractions. A living room is fine as long as the TV isn't on and the dog isn't running around and grandma's not yelling at you in the background. When you're speaking with us, be respectful. Same with writing. If you're commenting on things, make sure that you're being respectful and dress appropriately. We don't want to see kids in pajamas. They're still technically in school, just not the building. When they do sign on to Zoom, we ask everybody to stay muted just because there is extra noise in the background and it makes it a bit difficult. But keep your camera on. As the teacher, it makes a world of difference for me to be able to see a child's face when we are going over something. If I can read their face, so to speak, then I know if they're confused, or I know if they get it, or if they need more help. So we do ask kids to keep the camera on. Try not to walk around with your Chromebook. It just makes it very distracting for those other people who are watching. And again, be conscious of what's in your background. If you would like, just to make audio a little bit better, if you have a gaming headset at home, you're more than welcome to plug it in, wear that when you talk to us. And if you do use the chat feature in Zoom, just remember it's public and everybody can see it. And that is the end of my spiel. If you have any questions, any comments, if there's anything I can ever do to give you a hand or let your children shine a little bit brighter than you feel that they are at that moment, shoot me an email, give me a call. My name again, Brian Ursulisi, brsulisi@rutherfordschools.org. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.